thought you were just a maintenance man.
The only way to stop them is to face them. I will teach you real kung fu.
Now, Leon, did you know that by taking your jacket off about 1,000 times that you could learn expert karate? Or, excuse me, kung fu.
Yeah, because this isn't the Karate Kid. Oh, wait, it is.
Yeah.
Except there's no karate to be seen.
Now, to be fair, when I was a kid, I used to do it a lot, and I learned karate. I mean, mostly from watching Hong Kong Phooey.
Oh,
but I did learn something.
Well,
like how to do a swan kick into a garbage can.
Because they thought it's possible.
Sure.
After the original Karate Kid, every motherfucker was going out and learning martial arts. Just like after Back to the Future, everybody wanted to get a skateboard. You know, it was the same thing.
I thought you were gonna say after Back to the Future, everybody tried to build a time machine, because that's what I did.
Well,
and failed miserably.
not everybody.
Well, after the Karate Kid, everybody stood in those crane poses, and then they got their asses.
And then they got their asses beat by themselves. They did that crane pose and just fell right on their ass.
Fell over.
Yeah. Shit, who knocked me out? You, bitch, you. Shit. Man, let me tell you something about this movie. Okay, now, you remember the original Karate Kid with Ralph Macchio?
Sure.
And Pat Morita?
Yeah, and Arnold from Happy Days.
And Arnold from Happy Days. And that was a cool movie, because with that movie just dealt with a bunch of douchebags who learned karate or kung fu or whatever kind of food they were learning from the local strip mall.
Right.
So they learned it here in America. They just went and picked it up, signed up for it, and you got kind of the idea like, okay, some old janitor or handyman can teach me some kung fu himself, and I could take on these guys.
Right.
Now we got the new Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Which stars the son of Will Smith, Jaden Smith.
Jaden, right.
And
because, you know what, that Smith family is not successful enough.
Oh no, they breeding money now. He's just like,
you know what? I'm just happy that Jaden kid got a break finally.
You got to pay your share now. You're born into the Smith family, the lap of luxury. You better get ready to be in a crappy movie with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, who practices Smith Fu. Taraji P. Henson plays Jaden Smith's mom in this movie. She gets transferred for a job over in China. Uh-huh. Now, when they get over there, you learn quickly that these kids, they ain't fucking around. They learn karate out the vagina, you know,
or kung fu,
or kung fu, whatever the fuck it is. They are not born. They kung fu kick their way out the vagina. So when you see little Jaden Smith getting picked on, all of a sudden learns kung fu just from taking his jacket off, it's like you ain't fucking around these white kids who learn this shit from a strip mall. No, these kids in this movie, they are not children, they are weapons.
That's part of the problem with the fantasy here, is that how can you really want me to buy into this? This is China. I mean, it's less than a year of training. They don't say precisely how long, but clearly less than a year, because before he's had any, they're like, we'll be in the next tournament. So presumably less than a year. So he beats the greatest kids in China in less than a year? What is that?
It's insane. See, the way this leads up is that Jaden Smith, the day he lands over in China, he's like, oh shit, this is cool. Why? Because I'm already picking up the Chinese chicks. And they smile at him and everything, but the moment he starts like picking up this chick, somebody taps on his shoulder, he's like, yes, well, pow! You know, it's the neighborhood bully. And this kid is fucking scary. This kid must be about 12 years old. Chuck Norris would look at this motherfucker and be like, hell no.
Yeah, Chinese kid of the perpetual scowl. So, you can tell he's a bad guy.
He gets there and immediately gets his ass beat by the local gang who just do not like him messing with this one chick. And then they decide to like, all right, you know what? You already crossed the line. We're going to make your life a living nightmare while you're here. Every time you see us, you're going to be running scared. And you can see why, because this kid his name is Chang. I don't know what his name is as an actor, but this kid is the greatest kung fu star and master of the dangerous stare. Because everywhere little Jaden goes, that dude's just looking.
Yeah, he can tell he's there. He's like, dee, 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 dee.
I mean, when Jaden Smith looks in the mirror, he don't see his reflection. He sees that kid, and from that point on, he's getting. I mean, this is okay. You got to buy a lot. Let me just tell you real quick the rest of the plot. If you've seen the original Karate Kid, this doesn't follow too much of a difference. He's getting his ass beat. It comes to a point where the handyman in this situation, instead of being played by Pat Morita, it's played by Jackie Chan. He sees him getting his ass beat. He's like, okay, I got to intervene. He comes out, helps his kid, and says, you know what? I'm gonna teach you kung fu so that you can fight these other kids.
The evil
It wasn't
kids.
like, hey, you can't just fight him for me. You can't just tell him to leave me alone.
Well, he did, man. He does do that.
I hate to admit it, but as a white person, I was like, what? He's black. Shouldn't he just be like, hey, where can I get a gun?
That is true. It's like if there's
Keep
ever
talking to that girl like, after getting his ass beat, why didn't he just go like, no, man, I'm not trying to pick her up. I just need somebody to do my laundry.
I mean, I admit there were some hot little Chinese preteen girls there, but, they were just cheap knockoffs of American hot preteen girls.
Oh yeah. No, this fool here,
Come on,
man.
Corey, your turn.
Look, you know what? That's the first thing. You were right, Cyrus. This is the first time I was like, if you ever should live up to a stereotype, now is the moment, because the way this in this movie, man, it is funny because the fight scenes are the highlight of it.
Yeah.
Now, they're exaggerated because
Do they get into wire fu at some point?
no. I mean,
Not to
no,
that level,
no. They,
no.
in fact,
That's for the sequel.
no, the fight scenes are so good that they bring you to realize the flaws in the fight scenes itself. Because the way that these little Chinese bullies are beating up Jaden Smith should be dead.
Yeah.
The way they flip him. Now, this is not happening on a mat or grass. They on concrete, and they throw this motherfucker around. He lands on his head about 3 or 4 times. It's like, if you ain't dead, you should at least be drooling and talking about.
Well, part of the problem is that they're using the same Foley effects every martial arts film does. That big block of wood, boom, with every punch, and you're like, Jesus Christ! And it wouldn't bother you so much. Like, you watch, there's lots of Asian films with little kids who are badass. It's almost a genre in and of itself. It doesn't bother you there because they're all played for laughs or silliness or whatever. Here, this movie wants you to take it back seriously so badly. It's so serious all the way through it that it's just like, you're like, wait, what? That kid would have just punched right through him with a sound like that. You can't buy into those fantasies because of how badly it wants you to feel this is all real and really happening. Nor can you really buy some of the shit that Jaden Smith pulls off after, like I said, less than a year of training. This kid is flipping around like he's like an 8th level black belt or some shit by the end, and you're like, no, I'm sorry, I don't care how nice your jacket is.
Well, you were right about that.
Ain't gonna do that.
No, wait. Did he mix it with a little hip hop?
Yeah.
Throw him off.
Oh yeah. No, he mixed it with a little hip hop. But he didn't mix it with kung fu. He mixed it with an ass beat. Like, he's breaking and popping, and like there's a pop that comes inside his fucking head after a while because he's trying to impress that girl. They
Chopping and socking.
Yeah. Slamming and whamming and you know. But that fool, man. Now this is the main problem with the film, because you see how villainous these kids are, and you're like, oh, this is much worse than the original film. I mean, they're killers. Yeah. They are vicious.
You make them sound like the teenagers in Harry Brown.
Yeah, man, worse.
Yeah, they're played up to this level along with their trainer, who's like, no mercy, and it's so ridiculously over the top evil that with everything else you're like, really, is this? I didn't having a hard time with this. I mean, the bad guys in the original movie, what was it, Joe Piscopo or something like that?
No, it was a Joe Piscopo.
It was a different guy.
I don't know.
Cagney,
but you're like, that guy was a sweetheart compared to this dude who's just like going, hey, you know what you should do now? You should totally break his face.
Oh, no.
You should smash his leg just because it'd be cool.
It's insane, because in this country, they you can't really blame the kids, because if they do not whoop somebody's ass,
they get their asses.
Get their asses whooped themselves. I mean, when they don't show any mercy, whoever the master is of this dojo here, he's crazy. He like for looking in the wrong direction. He's like, what are you looking at? Shut the fuck up and pay attention.
Yeah,
I mean,
he drove a tank over this one kid.
I said no mercy. Wait a minute, no, my legs. No,
that sounds almost as bad as working for you. Corey.
No.
Well, come on. It was a compact. Don't bitch.
Remember that. They train these kids to be merciless killers. You see them training. It is not just a fun game of this is a tournament. It's like show no mercy. Break their heads, legs, necks, whatever you got to keep them down. And they're talking about keeping their own teammates down. Now imagine what
it's
they
a
do.
ninja school, basically.
It pretty much is. These are not kids anymore.
I know things are different in China, but I can't help but feel that they're not that different. And the way it sets it up, I mean, like, okay, so like Jackie Chan writes like, all right, I'm going to help this kid out, and I'm going to go with him to the school and say, look, your students, like, they assaulted this kid. You can't possibly approve of that, right? As a kung fu master. And the guy's like, I'm going to beat your ass right here just for coming in my school. Oh, not even kidding. And you're like, come on, man. I'm sure they're different over there, but they're, like I said, they can't be that different. And that was one of my problems with this. It's like, it so villainizes almost everything going on over there. By the end, it kind of felt like Rocky IV to me.
Oh,
like,
yeah. With
America versus China.
Oh, yeah. No, it's insane. And you were so right, man. The whole thing about his training is like Jackie Chan. Here's the deal. All right, this is what I was saying before. It's fun to see Jaden get his ass beat because you're thinking like, oh, shit, man. Oh, when it's on, it's on. These guys have it coming. But after he stops getting his ass beat and he starts training, there's no more fun in the movie. There's no more fun until the last scene when we see the tournaments happen, the inevitable tournaments. Because when they go into the dojo to confront, the reason why Jackie Chan goes into the dojo in the first place with Jaden Smith, he's like, look, these guys are messing with you. They have a bad teacher. Let's just go. This is crazy. Let's just go and talk to the teacher and tell him, you're teaching these kids the wrong thing. Oh, leave my kid alone here. He's a good guy. And let's just walk out of here peacefully, and maybe you'll learn a lesson or two before I'm done. No, when they walk in there,
show them an episode of Fat Albert.
Oh yeah, no, the master here is just kind of like, you know what? Not only did you walk in here and disrespect me, but you walk in here and didn't fight anybody. So either you got to fight right now, or you have to fight in the tournament. That's why we lead to.
Pitt.
What's that?
It's Brad Pitt. He walked into a fight club.
Yeah, he walked into a pretty much, yeah. And so that's why we lead to this tournament at the end of the movie. So
nobody gets out of here without singing the blues.
Exactly. So you get all the best parts of this movie are the fight scenes. You get it either when Jaden is getting his ass beat or when he's kicking ass at the tournament. In between there is. Not only is there a lack of fight scenes, but there's nothing here to make you believe that Jaden Smith is getting the adequate training that he needs in the middle of this movie. And keep in mind that this movie is over 2 hours.
She used her chi on that snake, didn't she?
Very good.
You gotta teach me that, like how to control people.
There's only one person you need to learn how to control. Empty your mind. Flow with my movement. Connect to the energy around you.
I kind of just want to learn the Cobra thing.
Cobra takes a lifetime. Requires great focus.
But I have great focus. Oh my God. Miss Han?
Your focus needs more focus.
A lot of this feels like it's really just self-promotion for Jaden Smith. It really does. I mean, once he starts training, there's endless loving shots of his abdomen. I'm just not even kidding. He's just like, look at me all sweaty. Look at my young preteen muscles. I'm like, this is grossing me out
so
really bad. Well, he's not taking his dick out. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, he resembles Papa Smith so much that I'm just kind of like, no, this motherfucker put some CG on. He's trying to start a second career. That is Will Smith. There's no such thing as Jaden Smith.
You know what? Maybe it's the clone body that Will Smith is growing.
It could be.
Could be.
No, like the island. It totally is.
It is.
And so like he'll put his consciousness in it, and he'll already be a movie star.
Look, you take a picture of Jaden Smith and paint a little gottee on him and say don't look like Will Smith today.
There was a scene he got knocked out of the ring at one point, jumped right back up, and I turned Corey. I was like, I didn't hear no fat lady. It's like, because it did. It was like, wow, it's a little baby Will Smith. But he still doesn't have the charisma of Will.
Did you? I gotta disagree with you because he mimicked his dad almost too well.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that it just felt like an imitation. It did not feel like that guy who had that genuine confidence and charisma of Will Smith. And I didn't really like him in the role.
I did. A little Minnie Smith.
Minnie Smith.
Yeah, little Minnie Smith. I did like him because the reason why he starts out. Let me say that the setup for this movie up until he stops getting his ass beat is to me is very enjoyable. Not because he's getting beat down, but just because I like the setup. I mean, there's some good direction and it starts out as that kind of movie where it seems like, okay, just because we're centered on a little black kid, we're not going to make this all urban and everything. They quickly drop that in the middle of the movie. In fact, the girl that he's hitting on, there's things that this movie, it sets up traps for itself, and for the first 30 minutes, you're thinking like, this is going along so well that it's not going to fall into those traps. Well, give it about another 40 minutes, and they do. Jaden Smith has to start breakdancing, and even the girl that he's seeing, the Chinese girl that he's falling for, there's a scene where she's a kid. One of those little artistic kids whose parents will kill her if she's not performing well. In this case, she plays the violin.
Yeah.
And you're thinking like, okay, it's a little nerdy chick, but of course she has to have that moment where she's like, look, I'm just as urban as you are. I'm gonna do my best fucking Lady Gaga dance. And it's like, oh my
Except
God.
all that was missing was a stripper pole.
Yeah, you wait for that pole to come down.
I mean, I hate to say it, and I'm looking away. I'm like going, God damn it, man. What the fuck? She is practically taking off her clothes.
Because that's what I was saying.
I saw Corey. He was taking dollars out of his wallet.
Yeah, I was like going up to the screen and pressing the screen. Nah, man, it's just there's 40 minutes of this movie. Like I said, the movie is over 2 hours. It's way too long.
Way over 2
And there's a gap in that movie where it gets to a moment where they're like, oh yeah, we're supposed to show this kid doing some kind of kung fu, and they do the inevitable montage. But by that point, you get the sense like this has only been like a span of 2 weeks. Against kids who have trained their whole lives. And then on top of that, now you made a good point here, and that whole amount of training, what little bit of training we get, is just a few kicks, punches, and ducks. And when he starts fighting this tournament, he starts flipping and grabbing people with his legs and by the neck and turning them around. And Jackie Chan didn't teach him a bit of flipping, jumping, and acrobatics.
Well, his stunt double is pretty.
Jackie Chan movies.
What's that?
His stunt double is pretty impressive. I got to hand it.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. And only Jackie Chan can get away with beating up kids. Because Jackie Chan does that kind of kung fu or martial arts where you be fighting Jackie Chan. He really doesn't hit you. He has you beat up everybody else around you. He does that thing where he takes your hand and makes you slap somebody in the face. The funny thing about Jackie Chan is like it's still the Jackie Chan that we like, the comedic Jackie Chan. When he gets into a fight scene with all these kids, it's okay because Jackie Chan does things like you fight Jackie Chan, it's like wow. And at that point, you got your shirt tied up in a knot like a gay person. You got your drawers on your head. You got a fake beard on that came from nowhere. It's like how the fuck did I end up here?
But the problem is like Jackie Chan fans are going to be disappointed because there's only one Jackie Chan fight scene in this movie, and I don't know if he did the choreography for the rest of the film, but it certainly doesn't feel like it if he did because there's only really that one scene where you're like, okay, it is amusing. It's not Drunken Master amusing, but it's amusing. And as far as like him just letting kids hit himself, I know that's his excuse in the movie, but he picks up this one kid and starts swinging him around, beating the shit out of kids with the kid. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that counts as you just hitting them.
But you know what? It's Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan can beat the fuck out of a 12-year-old kid, and then he'll put out a little hand pup and be like, hey, I'll make you laugh. Look at this.
I feel like if I fought Jackie Chan, I'd be like, look, I appreciate the antics, and they're funny at all, but stop hitting me.
No, here's my impression of you fighting Jackie Chan.
Yeah. and it is good that the fight scenes, I don't think they were choreographed by Jackie Chan because, like I say, the fighting in this movie, it really is brutal. I mean, they do not hold back. Now, this is supposed to be a kid's movie. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. But the fight scenes in this are very violent.
They want you to hate those kids. And sure enough, you do kind of buy into that. Even despite yourself, despite all the cliche, you're like, man, I want these kids to just suffer. I want them. You were hoping. There was a scene where he's the main kid, Jaden Smith, fighting the main bad kid. For a second there, I was like, oh, awesome. He pushed his nose up into his brain, and I was totally for it.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, man, that kid's like 14. Come on, that's not cool.
No, man, there was, I mean, to me, those fight scenes didn't pull back at all to the point where it should have turned to Mortal Kombat. They should have pulled, like, little Jaden Smith by his cornrows and pulled his face off his skull and been like Smith Alady or some shit.
That would have been a better movie, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, to me, they were very brutal, and if it works to a good reason. Like I said, it's not the kind of violence that's going to like tell kids that they can't see this. Like I said, there's no real blood, there's no real bone crunching effects or anything like that going on, but they do hurt. I mean, even to the point where Leon, they take you to the city of kung fu cliches where people don't do anything but pose in kung fu stances. Like, they don't fight, they don't do anything. There's one person with their legs spread on a wall. There's another person there fighting a cobra. There's another person that just folding out a fan for nothing.
So you make it sound like it just turned into Kung Fu Panda.
I'm gonna give this a rental. I'm gonna tell you why. Just real quick, everything that happens in the middle of this movie does not lead itself to any kind of believability, character development, or even story development of this movie. That whole middle sequence is nothing. Rent this movie. It's a rental. Why? To watch Jaden Smith get his ass beat and then flip it around to where he reverses, flips the script and starts beating ass, because that's all you need to see. You can fast forward through all those other scenes. Now, if you're a kid who really loves this kind of shit, maybe you'll be more tolerant of it, but I think you're going to be bored, little boy and girl. I think you're going to be a little bored.
Yeah, if this had been an hour and a half, this would actually be a pretty solid little movie.
I agree.
Because there is good stuff in here. The fights are cool. There's some cinematography that's fucking gorgeous at points. I was like, wow, who the fuck shot this? I mean, I wanted to know. I was like, that is neat looking. I mean, that's why I didn't mind the whole trip up into China, because I was like, wow, this is gorgeous. But there's so much just beating around the fucking bush. Who cares about all the shit going on? It's like there's 8 training montages, each progressively more boring than the last. And by the end, you're like, okay, I admit I'm enjoying watching these stunt doubles fight, but I'm not invested in it at all. I mean, the best I could possibly give this is a rental, and that's very unfortunate.
I agree with you.
So now, as far as the charisma of Jaden Smith, how long do you guys think it's going to be before we get Bagger Vance 2?
Hopefully never, unless he does karate and that and beat all.
Maybe he'll do like a kid's version, so like the Little Rascals, we get to dress up like Stymie as Bagger Vance.
No, I want to see a sequel to this because Taraji P. Henson is the typical black mama in this movie. Where she, black mamas don't Thomas, they don't,
Thomas.
Yeah, Jaden, because at the beginning of the movie, she's like, baby, you got a black eye. Who whooped you? Who hurt you? Mama, get out there and do something for you. And you tell Jaden Smith is like, I don't want you to do anything because you will like embarrass me. He's not like, Mama, I don't want you to kill this kid.
Yeah, they should just make the next one Tyler Perry's The Karate.
Yeah, exactly. Your shoe fu is too strong.
Well, it was Tyler Perry. It'd be like, I may not know karate, but I know karate.
But I know crazy.
I don't want to be scared anymore.
Life will knock us down, but we can choose to get back up. Remember, always strong.
This court is